This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, Uncle Dave, we do suck once again. We got your comment in there before you even saw our faces. Welcome to the Mariners POSTCAST. Myself, Anderson Hurst, to my left, Christopher Crawford. We'll try and explain this one. Can we just use yesterday's video?
Yeah,
and just change Brian Wu with Emerson Hancock with a little different vibe. But sure. It kind of feels like the same game, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Big Dumper was decent, hitting that 2-run home run. Seemed like, he's going to save our butts once again. But then Brian Wu in the bottom half of the sixth, unfortunately, chose a wrong time to have a couple very bad pitches.
Really bad pitches.
Yeah, walking Jackson Holiday and then just hanging one to Adley Rutschman, who all of a sudden, I think he's starting to see the Cal Raleigh hype and he's like, I'm still here. I still exist.
Yeah.
I'm also a switch hitting catcher who's really, really good. Mm-hmm. But no, man, it's just the same old story, unfortunately. The Mariners are swept by the Baltimore Orioles, who coming into this game, I think had the second worst record in the American League.
Yeah.
I know they've been playing better lately, but it's just like, what are we doing, guys? The vibes are not good. You have I think 1.5 good offensive players right now. And I say 1 Cal Raleigh and then a half of JP, because he's getting on base. He's playing well, doing what he needs to do. But everyone else, man, just there's nothing going on. Chris Crawford, what's your original thoughts?
Yeah, this is a bummer. It's a bummer because two of my favorite players to watch on this team are Brian Wu and Julio Rodriguez. And Julio had a really bad game. And Brian Wu had just really one bad inning. But a really bad inning. And when you see two of your favorites, we all have our favorites on these teams. Like, I love Big Dumper, don't get me wrong. I have many a rookie card and hopefully can retire on them in a few years. It's I'm still rooting for all of these guys. But when you see personal favorites stink the way personal favorites stink today, and maybe stinks a little too tough for Wu, but he was not good enough. And he got away with some stuff too. But the overall result is, another horrible homestand. They are 4-12 over their last 16 home games. That's pathetic. That's not like bad. That's a 1/5 sample size too of your home games where you play at usually worst team in baseball levels. That's really bad. 4-12. You do that over a full season, you go 40-120. That's not the goal. That is not the goal, folks. And when you play like they have at home, even, we go back to the Blue Jay series, and I know this is Ty and Colby territory.
Yeah.
At least that one, the Mariners looked like the better team in that series, even with losing all 3 games. They didn't look like the better team against the Yankees, but, a couple of really close games, you get the win. Since then, this team has looked, and all that good thoughts I had about the Twin series and winning both those games, gone. Dunzo. And today was maybe the worst of them, outside of maybe that 9-1 loss to Washington.
I mean, the last 2 weeks, you could count 3-4 games where we think, this is rock bottom. Oh, wait, no, this is rock bottom. Oh, wait, no, this is rock bottom. So, I mean, they kind of righted the ship a little bit over the weekend against the Twins, I guess, earlier in the week against the Twins, but it was just, it's looking more like a flash in the pan at that point. It's that series and the San Diego series in the past, 3 weeks where the Mariners have done anything and looked like winning baseball teams.
Sure.
I don't know, man. There's so many ways we could go with this. You mentioned Julio. He looks broken at the plate right now, unfortunately. But he's not the only one. I think Jorge Polanco does as well.
Yeah.
Dylan Moore is just, why are you playing? Cole Young looks outmatched. You could go up and down the lineup. Randy Arozarena looks broken.
Horrible game from Arozarena.
Horrible game. It's literally Cal and JP, and then just a massive drop off for the offense right now.
Yeah, and I'll give Julio a little bit of a break. Like, he was picking up hits at least. We talked about it a bunch yesterday, and go check out that show, please, and thank you. That he's just not driving the baseball. Today was just bad. Today was just Julio Rodriguez being way out in front of a couple of sliders, taking a slider down the middle in a very high leverage situation, which is weird for him. Like at the very least, Julio usually goes down swinging, clearly fooled. You have to at least foul that baseball off. But all of the offense today outside of Crawford and Big Dumper was terrible. I need to talk about something positive. And so let's talk about Big Dumper real quick, because yes, it's in a loss, but what a special season this guy is having. And there's a reason why we titled this YouTube picture, Don't Waste This. And it was perfect for not just what Big Dumper did today with that massive 2-run homer to break the 1-1 tie, but what he's doing overall. This is a historic offensive season for a catcher, especially, but like this for anyone, he's slugging 638, folks. That's a 638 slugging percentage with 101 games to go. And he's playing every single day. So this is not any type of small sample. It stinks that they might waste this. And this is how I felt about, so weird. Last year, it felt like don't waste this historic
pitching
rotation. Now it's don't waste this upper echelon, doesn't even begin to describe its season from Cal Raleigh. But at the very least, I can take some semblance in seeing Cal Raleigh do what he did today and knowing not only am I going to get to watch this guy tomorrow, not only am I going to get to watch this guy through the All-Star break, blah, blah, blah. I get 6 more years of this at least. I get at least 6 more years of watching this type of baseball player. So there's our one positive that we can take from this game, that Cal Raleigh is him, folks. This is no longer a small sample thing. And sure, I'm not asking him to have a 377 OBP and 638 slugging percentage all year. If he is 3/4 of that player, he's not just the best catcher in baseball. He's one of the top 10 players in the entire league. And that's pretty neat to have.
Yeah. What I don't want this to turn into, unfortunately, is just, I don't know. I was literally just born the year that Ken Griffey Jr. won MVP in 1997. And it turned into, all right, well, our team sucks, but at least we can root for this historic one person. And it's like, I want it to matter. I want it to matter. I want these moments that Cal is having to carry this team to the playoffs, to go on a historic run. I just don't want to turn it into, okay, well, at least we have Cal Raleigh, even though we're just out of it at this point. And it's looking like that might be the case. I don't know. We're a daily show. I'm just reacting to what I've seen now and lately specifically. Yeah. But this team doesn't look like a playoff baseball team right now.
No, right now it's not even playing anywhere close to it. Like what you've seen from the offense, what you've seen from the bullpen, sans a couple of guys, suggest to me that, and even the rotation, the rotation's been good, and we'll get into Brian Woo's start in a second. It hasn't been the historic levels of 2024, not even close to it. Real quick, congratulations to Brian Woo, because I'll forget about it. That's another start where he goes 6 innings. That's every single start he's made where he's gone 6 innings. But this wasn't good enough today, and the starting rotation has had blips. I think that's the best way to put it. Blips, where it just hasn't been that elite rotation. Yeah. Long story short, right now, the Seattle Mariners aren't playing anywhere close to playoff baseball.
Let's get into Woo's start. It looked like he was cruising through 5 innings. I think he looked like as peak Brian Woo as it gets, where his command was there. He was getting the swing and miss stuff. Couple weird walks here and there.
Sure.
Gets the little bit weird 3rd inning, but gets out of it and then looks good again in the 4th and 5th. But then that 6th inning, man, walking Jackson Holiday on the couple pitches where you don't see Brian Woo miss recently, and then just leaving that hanging, just hit me please breaking ball to Adley Rutschman. And it was a little weird for me as a Mariner fan saying that, because it's like, oh, wait, you can hit mistake pitches? I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that, because even with Big Dumper lately, it's been like he's hitting ones at his eyes, or like they're trying to pitch around him and he's still hitting it out. But then everyone else, man, it did nothing work. So bad 6th inning. Bad 6th inning from Brian Woo.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we talked about this yesterday, where if you have a bad inning for this team right now, the offense just isn't good enough to make up for it. And it was a really bad inning. And what I thought happened there, and I'd have to ask Brian Wu myself. I'd be scared to ask Brian Wu anything because of how angry this guy gets after starts.
He's Macho Man now all of a sudden.
He definitely. I think that hair added something. Like,
well, and I love it. I love like the I'm gonna come after you mentality. I honestly think that's what's led to a little bit of Bryce Miller's iffiness. I mean, obviously, it's a chicken egg situation. Your confidence comes when your stuff is good. So, like, if you have both of them, you have more confidence, sort of thing. So,
yeah, no, I get totally what you're saying. I think what happened there with Brian Wu was after he issued that walk to Holiday, he probably, and again, no way to prove this, got a little too nervous about issuing another walk. And so you see those pitches middle to both Rutschman and to Henderson. Both of those were terribly located pitches. Credit to two of the better young players in baseball taking advantage of it.
Haven't played well this year, but they're still, the track record suggests they're very good.
100%. Like, you throw batting practice fastballs to guys who have been in MVP consideration. And I believe Rutschman was second in Rookie of the year Julio won.
Yep.
You got the one other first place vote. I still think that's bull crap, by the way. It's just something about unanimous, man. And he should have been unanimous. But yeah, outside of that inning, Brian Wu was fine. Brian Wu pitched exceptionally well, changed hitters' eye levels. Command was mostly good. The wild pitch, I guess Big Dumper could have gotten in front of that. I guess that's a pretty tough play.
It hit like a foot ahead of the play, so.
and probably a little bit of a mix up there because the pitch certainly wasn't supposed to go there. It never is. But I thought Brian Wu pitched pretty darn well sans that one inning. But unfortunately, this offense, if you have that one bad inning, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, totally agree. Before I think we're going to do this until it starts to change. I think we need to talk about Julio because he's what makes this offense go. And hopefully us kind of like just relaying the urgency that, hey, dude, you need to turn it around. Hopefully that makes it happen because I'm still rooting for the guy. I think he's awesome. But before we get to that, Chris, I want to talk to you about FanDuel.
Okay.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing. More than that, they are just starting tonight with the NBA Finals. And every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action.
FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. Bet the over on Tyrese Halliburton tonight on the points and assists. I might go over. I hate saying something positive about the Thunder, but like I could see Alex Caruso being kind of built for something like this. Maybe over on his 3-pointers, something along those lines. I could see a decent game from him. And then I would just go ahead and waste my life savings and bet the over on the Indiana Pacers winning by 106.
Winning by 106. Okay.
I think that's fair. I tried to be a little bit reasonable.
Yeah. All right. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's get into it. For those who do or who tune into us daily, we talked a little Julio last night. He still got 2 hits last night. Still hasn't looked right, I think, for at least a couple weeks now. I mean, he still ends up getting a lot because of his speed, and he's knocking it the other way every once in a while. He's not walking anymore. He is starting to chase more, starting to strike out more again, but we're not seeing the slug at all either. So we're coming back to what he was kind of for a lot of last year. I don't want to just ask like what fixes him, because I think it's a lot of it's mental at this point for him. I just want to ask, like, at what point do you start having major alarm bells that this guy is going to be capped offensively? And not turn into the guy that we saw the first 2 years. Like, because that's the main thing for me. I want to see that he was the guy from the first 2 years of his career and not the guy that he was last year.
Yeah, and I still think that people maybe underrate his offensive season last year. It wasn't nearly as bad as some people put it. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't the jump up that we wanted from 2023 to 2024. But I think some people talk about him like he's an automatic out, and I think that's kind of insane. I also think there's just a lot of people who just don't like Julio Rodriguez and kind of relish in this type of thing, which also is insane. Having said that, today was the first day that I truly felt concerned about Julio Rodriguez because I've taken a look at the numbers. The hit tool's been fine. The hit tool's been more than fine. Since like May 21st, he's had so many multi-hit games. The average exit velocity is fine too. The issue is that he is just not driving the baseball at all. And today was an example of him just not putting the baseball in play at all. And the worst at bat that I've seen from Julio Rodriguez all year was today. That 8th inning, that's a slider right down the middle of the plate. And sure, he's not looking fastball there. And I understand why he's not looking fastball there. Not many dudes are challenging Julio middle with a fastball in an 0-2 count, 1-2 count, one of the two. Yeah. Certainly with 2 strikes because 2 + 1 = 3.
There you go.
This is the first game that I've said, ooh, this is Julio at his worst. Like yesterday, even, he does get a couple of hits. He puts the ball in play. Now he strikes out in a very high leverage situation, 2 very high leverage situations. Oh, no, he popped out in the other one, but not good enough. Not the results that we want to see. Today was the first day that I saw Julio Rodriguez look lost at the plate, just flat out lost. And it's going to happen. Yep. It's going to happen for every major league player. But it's amplified when he's not driving the baseball for the last week and you have a game like today. There's no way you can ignore that. Like the eye test told you that Julio Rodriguez was bad at baseball today. Now, of course, we're not talking about his defense. We're not talking about his base running because you got to get on base to run.
Yep.
But we're just talking about what he did offensively today and at portions yesterday and at portions earlier in the homestand as well. Just hasn't been good enough. I hope that he can go on a nice little run starting on Friday.
Well, we all know the tools are there. I just hope that because we praised this offensive coaching staff for so much of the year and how much they were helping the guys put the ball in play more, just go the other way, look up the middle. And I think it goes to show you how quickly things can change if you overcompensate in some ways. Mike Benton, thanks for tuning in. You're the institution. He's the man. He was at the game today, so maybe we have to call him and get some on-site insight from Mike Benton. But
called him once, didn't answer.
But to me, like, I don't know. It's because he's so polarizing, and I get it. Everyone should be leaning into their superstar instead of leaning away from it.
It's weird.
But at some point, there has to be like, okay, let's go. We shouldn't have to wait until August for you to start hitting. And like you see, like, and it should be also noted that Cal Raleigh, even yesterday, had a couple bad at-bats in big situations today as well.
Sure.
Hit a ball hard to center field. Like
but that ball should have been clobbered today.
Yeah, it should have been.
It should have been hit over the fence today. And like you said, and not to change the subject, but like Randy Arozarena was lost at the plate today.
Right.
Absolutely lost. And we have seen way too much of that since the middle of June from him. The Dylan Moore at bats. And this can kind of go into unsung hero, I think.
Okay.
My unsung villain is Dylan Moore. Those 2 at bats today were absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And I'm not a Dylan Moore hater. I just think there are some people who might overvalue the scrappy young utility guy that Dylan Moore is. Dylan Moore's
Willie Bloomquist now
with power. Willie Bloomquist with power and with really good trapezoids. Like that's the difference here, man. Like I get it. And I would, if I was Dylan Moore, I'd wear a tank top every single day and show those things off, man. Instead, I'm paid by Simply Seattle not to wear tank tops. It's specifically in my contract with KJR and Mile Wide. Do not wear tank tops. Okay. It's just not good enough. And you see why he can't be a regular. You see why Dylan Moore cannot be an everyday player. And you can point me to WRC Plus all you want. And you can point me to all the Savant pages. And because he just murders left-handed pitching. He should be in the lineup at the top of the lineup, maybe every day against left-handers because he's that good against them. But holy crap on a cracker is he lost against right-handers, and holy crap on a cracker ×2 is he lost against them in this stupid ballpark. Yeah. He is as poorly made for this ballpark as any player that I can think of in Seattle Mariner history. I would love to see what Dylan Moore could go do in Cincinnati. I would love to go see what he could do at a park that is made for his skill set. But more than anything else, I just want to see competent at-bats. And both at-bats today, I think it was 6 pitches.
Yeah.
6 pitches.
I think he swung at every one.
And he swung and missed at every single one of them. It's just not good enough. As bad as Julio was, of course, and we expect more from Julio Rodriguez, because of course we do. But man, this entire offense outside of Crawford and outside of Raleigh today was absolute dog excrement.
And I think it's been for a while, honestly. It's good to see JP. That's if you're gonna go unsung hero. It's JP Crawford. The dude, another 2-hit day. I think he was. This is his 6th straight game of being on base at least twice.
That's awesome.
That's a really good streak to have.
Yeah.
That's what you want in your leadoff hitter.
Sure.
And I like how you kind of the conversation with Dylan Moore and Julio, even though there can be disappointment in both of them at this point in time.
Sure.
The difference in the fans' perspective is that Julio has these astronomical expectations.
Exactly.
And that's not a bad thing. And
no,
some of that is him putting that on himself. Some of that is his play early in his career. And some of that's the Mariners for shoving him down our throat with a bunch of marketing, and B, not putting other stars around him to expect him to be the guy. Yep. And that's a failure on the Mariners. That's a failure on Julio himself for not necessarily getting to that point where you can carry a baseball team. But it's not just this one instance. This is his 2nd year of being a close to average offensive baseball player. And it just sucks that he's being the one that's expected to just absolutely carry this team wherever he goes. And he's not capable of doing that right now. I'm just going to say he's not capable of carrying this team offensively.
Nelson, I didn't see your comment comparing him to Franklin Gutierrez the last 2 years. Sorry, I just flat out didn't see it. There's like 140 people in here. It's an asinine comparison, but I kind of get it, and he does get treated with kid gloves sometimes. It's either kid gloves or there are some in this fan base who are just way too harsh on this dude. Like, there's a reason Ty and Colby had to come out with the video about whether or not Julio Rodriguez is overpaid. It's not even freaking close.
He's not overpaid, no.
Not even close to overpaid. The guy we're talking about right now, according to Fangraphs, is the 23rd most valuable player in baseball. Okay. And we're not talking about some dude who has like a negative WAR. We're not talking about freaking Michael Bourne. We're not talking about some center fielder who just can't hit for power whatsoever. We just want more. We want superstar production on a more consistent basis from Julio Rodriguez. But let's not talk about Julio Rodriguez like he's like the number one issue with the Mariners. The number one issue for the Mariners is that if Julio and if Big Dumper don't get it done, get it done. Yeah, if they don't get it done, like dumb, go stupid, E40. If they don't get it done, this team is just flat out not good enough because, JP Crawford, great. Couple of singles. The game before, a couple of walks, and he doesn't have the speed to make any difference whatsoever once he's on base. And it's better to be on base than to not be. Yeah. But he can't be your offensive savior. In fact, he can't even be your second best offensive player because if he's just on base, there's nothing he can do once he's on base to make up for what else is going on with this offense. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. You can look at all aspects of it from the team building to I think the coaching. You can massively ask questions of the fact that you can't okay, great. They had a much better April overall. If you take out Cal Raleigh from this offense, where would they be right now?
It's so bad. If by definition, Cal Raleigh is the most valuable player.
Yes,
because the New York Yankees are absolutely winning the AL East without Aaron Judge. Sorry, historic season, and he's deserving of, if you vote today, the MVP. But if you just went with the 3-letter definition of most valuable player, the most valuable player in the American League, it's not even close. It is Cal Big Dumper Raleigh Durham. That is the most valuable player. By the way, I've always joked that I would love to have seen that he was Cal Raleigh when he hits from the left side and Cal Durham when he hits from the right side.
That would be funny. That would be really funny.
But unfortunately, somebody had to make a great nickname that's making him hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, Big Dumper will work.
Big Dumper.
This offense would work.
Yeah, geez. Big Dumper lives on. But the rest of the Mariners, yikes. Thanks for you guys for listening to the postcast show.
Good comment.
We're all with you, Caesar.
We're all
with you. All right, Mariners. Hopefully they turn the vibes around. What do we got tomorrow against the Angels in LA?
Yep.
Hey, maybe going on the road is what fixes these guys because
they've been way better on the road than at home. There's no question about that. And we have seen seasons where the Mariners are a better team on the road than at home, where they just have a little bit more going for them. That's nothing against the crowd. There's nothing really against the park even. It just seems like the Mariners every once in a while have a year where they take advantage of things on the road. But you got to be good at home. You have to be good at home if you're going to
play half your games in one park. You got to be good at it.
And I'm 95% sure that they have a losing record on the road or at home right now. And that just
would not be surprised whatsoever. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. Listen to us tomorrow. Once again, Christopher Crawford and myself, Anderson Hurst, go live right after every single Mariners game finishes. You can catch Ty and Colby with a new Locked On Mariners episode tomorrow. Be sure to look out for that. They have tons of good stuff coming this week. And then Chris and I will be live right after the game. If we continue to go through these downward spirals, man, I don't know what else I can keep doing. But all I can hope for is appreciate that you guys are tuning in with us. Anything else before we go out, Chris?
Well, just one thing. A link in the description to the Feeding America.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
That Ty and Colby are doing right now. Please donate. It is a great cause, and we really appreciate Ty and Colby for doing such fine work with it.
Yep, absolutely. Be sure to check that out. They do such a good job promoting really, really good causes. So really would appreciate you guys hanging out. And as I mentioned yesterday, even if you can't donate, make sure you're subscribed to our channel because every single new subscription adds 10 cents to the fund, which is awesome.
Thank you. Please and thank you.
Really appreciate you guys tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully have a different conversation because it feels like we've been the same for the past couple of days. So go M's. See you guys later.